My dear brothers and sisters, do you know that the moment you open your eyes at Fajr, the unseen world opens its doors for you? There is a shift that happens inside the heart, inside the soul, when you rise while the world sleeps. Fajr is not just a prayer, it is a transformation. It changes the way you think, the way you feel, the way you walk through your day. If you have been feeling lost, overwhelmed, disconnected, then listen closely, because everything can change, everything, starting at Fajr. My dear brothers and sisters, let me begin with a question that I want you to carry in your heart as we speak. What would your life look like if you allowed Fajr to shape it? Not your schedule, not your job, not your to-do list, but Fajr. Because Fajr is more than a prayer. Fajr is an awakening. When you rise before the sun, you are doing something profound. You are declaring, without words, that Allah is more important than sleep, more important than comfort, more important than the temporary world that pulls you in 1,000 directions. And when a believer makes such a statement, the entire day responds. Allah places a light in the heart that changes the way you see everything. Many people say, I feel anxious, I feel overwhelmed, I feel lost. And often the answer is not more productivity, more planning, more self-help. The answer is Fajr, because the soul was created to begin the day with its Creator. When you stand before Allah at that hour, the burdens you carried yesterday begin to melt away. It is a reset, a real reset, the kind that reaches the heart, not the calendar. Pause for a moment and imagine this. You wake up before dawn, stillness all around you, the world quiet. You make wudu, and with every drop of water that touches your skin, a layer of heaviness falls. You stand in prayer, and suddenly what felt complicated becomes clear, what felt painful becomes bearable, what felt impossible becomes possible. This is the secret of Fajr. Allah places sakina, a tranquility that no amount of sleep could give and no amount of stress could steal. My brothers and sisters, those who guard Fajr are not given ease because their life is perfect. They are given ease because their heart is connected. Fajr gives clarity. It aligns the soul. It protects from the whispers, from confusion, from the emotional storms that come throughout the day. When a believer begins the day with Allah, Allah carries them through the day with strength. So many times people say, I can't wake up. It's too hard. And the truth is, yes, it is hard. But every act of greatness has a price. And the price of Fajr is simply choosing Allah over sleep. And when you choose Allah once, Allah helps you choose Him again. Slowly, consistently, beautifully, Fajr becomes who you are. It becomes part of your identity. You become the person who rises while others sleep, who turns to Allah while others turn to their phones, who seeks light while others remain in darkness. And let me tell you something. When Fajr becomes your anchor, your day transforms. Your decisions are guided. Your reactions become calmer. Your tongue becomes softer. Your heart becomes more grateful. The problems you used to panic about, you now handle with wisdom. The worries that used to consume you, they lose their power. Why? Because the one who starts the day with Allah walks the day with Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, if you want to change your outlook, begin with Fajr. If you want peace, begin with Fajr. If you want clarity, begin with Fajr. If you want Allah to open doors, remove burdens, and bless your life, begin with Fajr. So tonight, set the intention. Ask Allah to wake you, to honor you with that moment, to place light in your life through this blessed prayer. And when you rise tomorrow, know that angels witness you, that Allah sees you, and that every step you take toward Fajr is a step toward a transformed heart, a transformed day, and a transformed life. May Allah make us among the people of Fajr, the people of light, the people whose hearts awaken before their eyes open. Ameen. There's a moment before dawn when the world is silent, when the streets are still, and when the soul stands on the edge between yesterday and today. In that moment, the believer who rises for Fajr experiences something profound, something that cannot be measured, cannot be explained logically, yet it transforms everything. Fajr prayer, along with the sincere dua that follows it, resets the heart before the day has a chance to reset your life. Most people wake up reacting to the world. Their minds run immediately to notifications, tasks, responsibilities, deadlines, worries. Their hearts begin the day already heavy, already racing, already trying to catch up. But the one who wakes for Fajr rises with intention, rises with calm, rises with purpose. Before the dunya demands anything, they stand before Allah. And that moment shifts the entire direction of their life. You see, the heart is not simply an emotional organ. In the spiritual sense, it is the center of clarity, judgment, sincerity, and faith. When the heart is overwhelmed, the entire life becomes overwhelmed. When the heart is calm, the entire life becomes manageable. And the most powerful moment to recalibrate this heart is at Fajr, when your connection to Allah is at its purest, and the worldly distractions are at their weakest. Before the sun rises, before the phone rings, before responsibilities claim your attention, Allah calls you to Him. And those who answer the call discover that their worries do not disappear, but their hearts become strong enough to carry them with dignity, patience, and trust. When you begin your day with Fajr, you begin with surrender. You are saying, Ya Allah, before the world pulls me in every direction, pull my heart toward you. Before the thoughts of yesterday overwhelm me, give me a new beginning. Before this day decides how I feel, allow my heart to decide how I will live this day. This surrender is the reset, the cleansing force that washes the heart like wudu washes the body. And then comes a dua after Fajr, a moment more powerful than many realize. Because dua made after an act of obedience carries a special weight. Your heart is soft, your mind is quiet, your ego is lowered, your sincerity is heightened. You are speaking to Allah not from a place of rush, but from a place of stillness. And when dua is made from stillness, it enters deep into the unseen. Consider this. The problems that seem huge in your mind at night suddenly feel smaller after Fajr. The decisions that seemed confusing the day before start to feel clear. The tightness in the chest, that quiet heaviness that many people cannot even name, it begins to lift. Why? Because dua at Fajr is not just a request, it is a release. You are releasing your fears, releasing your worries, releasing your exhaustion into the hands of the one who can actually do something about them. And Allah responds, sometimes immediately with clarity, sometimes gradually with unfolding ease, sometimes silently with the calmness that settles into your heart. The answer is not always in changed circumstances. Often the answer is in the changed heart. T. Which is why the heart resets before the day resets your life. When the heart is firm with Allah, the day cannot shake it. When the heart is filled with dhikr, the day cannot distract it. When the heart is strengthened with Fajr and dua, the day cannot break it. And this reset does something extraordinary. It turns the believer from a person who reacts to life into a person who leads their life. Instead of waking up feeling behind, they wake up ahead, spiritually ahead, emotionally ahead, mentally ahead. The day may still bring challenges, but the heart meets them with a different posture, with patience instead of panic, with faith instead of fear, with gratitude instead of frustration. Fajr is not just an early prayer. It is a spiritual alignment. It tells the soul who it belongs to. It tells the heart where peace is found. It tells the believer that they are not walking through the day alone. A life built on Fajr is a life built on clarity. A heart anchored by Fajr is a heart that cannot be shaken. A day that begins with dua is a day written with divine care. So if you feel lost, start with Fajr. If you feel overwhelmed, start with Fajr. If you feel disconnected, start with Fajr. Because Fajr does not just open the day, it opens the heart. And when the heart opens, Allah places within it what no worldly beginning could ever offer: tranquility, purpose, and a new chance to live the day with faith. This is the power of Fajr. This is the reset that changes everything. There is a secret known only to those who consistently rise at Fajr, a secret that cannot be fully described, only experienced. It is the secret of a heart that receives clarity, a soul that is granted strength, and a life that becomes wrapped in a layer of divine protection. This is the gift Allah gives to the one who honors Fajr. Honoring Fajr is not simply about waking up early. It is about choosing Allah before choosing the world, choosing obedience before comfort, and choosing light before darkness. When a believer makes this choice consistently, something profound begins to happen deep within the soul. Their inner world becomes illuminated in a way that influences everything they do, everything they feel, and everything they face. First, there is clarity. People often walk through life confused, unsure about decisions, unsure about relationships, unsure about themselves. Their minds feel crowded, their hearts feel heavy, and their direction feels uncertain. What they don't realize is that spiritual clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from aligning the heart with its creator at the very beginning of the day. The one who honors Fajr stands in a moment when the noise of the dunya is silent. No notifications, no conversations, no distractions, no pressures. It is in this silence that the soul sees clearly. And because this person starts their day with Allah, Allah opens for them doors of understanding that others struggle to find. Their mind sharpens, their priorities arrange themselves. Their decisions become easier. Their heart becomes more certain. There are moments after Fajr when a person suddenly understands what felt confusing the night before, or they feel guided toward a choice they were unsure about, or they sense a calmness that tells them, this is the direction. This is not an accident. This is the light Allah places in the heart of the one who honors Fajr. Then comes strength. Not physical strength, but a spiritual resilience, a kind of deep inner power that carries a person through the hardest parts of life. The one who prays Fajr builds a discipline that spills into every other part of their day. They learn to overcome laziness. They learn to put Allah first. They learn to push through difficulty. And little by little, his practice begins to strengthen their character. When challenges come, they are not shaken. When tests appear, they do not crumble. When worries chase them, they do not run aimlessly. They stand firm, because the same person who could rise at Fajr has learned how to rise above their struggles. Honoring Fajr cultivates a heart that is not easily broken, a mind that is not easily confused, and a spirit that is not easily defeated. Life may still test them, but it cannot weaken them, because they have built their strength in the quietest hour of the morning, when no one sees them except Allah. And then there is spiritual protection. The world is filled with unseen challenges, whispers that weaken the heart, doubts that cloud the mind, temptations that pull the soul downward, anxieties that rise without warning. The one who guards Fajr walks with a shield that others cannot see. Allah protects their steps. He protects their heart from hardness. He protects their mind from confusion. He protects their intentions from corruption. There are sins they are saved from. There are mistakes they are guided away from. There are harms, both physical and spiritual, that never reach them, simply because they are among the people who begin their day in obedience. This protection is not always visible. Sometimes it appears as an unexpected ease. Sometimes it appears as a difficulty being removed. Sometimes it appears as a feeling of comfort during a moment when others would feel fear. Sometimes it appears as peace in moments when others would fall apart. And often this protection shows itself in the smallest, quietest ways. The way a person feels lighter, calmer, safer. Not because the world changed, but because their heart is anchored in Allah. To honor Fajr is to declare, my soul belongs to you before it belongs to the world. My day starts with you before it starts way. Anything else, my protection comes from you before it comes from anything I can control. And Allah responds to that declaration with gifts beyond measure, clarity that makes the path visible, strength that makes the burden bearable, protection that makes the journey safe. So if you want your mind to be clearer, honor Fajr. If you want your heart to be stronger, honor Fajr. If you want your soul to be protected, honor Fajr. Because honoring Fajr is not just an action, it is a spiritual identity. And the one who carries that identity walks into every day with divine light guiding their steps. There are moments in a believer's life that shape them, moments that leave a mark on the soul, that redefine who they are, that realign their entire direction. Among the greatest of these transformative moments is the commitment to pray Fajr consistently. Not occasionally, not when convenient, but consistently with intention, love, and discipline. Because when Fajr becomes consistent, identity begins to change. People often talk about self-improvement, character development, building strength, breaking bad habits, becoming more spiritual, becoming more purposeful. But one of the most powerful catalysts for inner transformation is simple, yet profound. Waking up for Fajr every day. When a person begins to honor Fajr regularly, something shifts deep inside of them. Not just their routine, not just their schedule, but their identity. They begin to see themselves differently. They begin to understand themselves differently. They begin to walk through life differently. Why? Because Fajr is not just a prayer, it is a declaration of who you are. When you consistently rise while others sleep, your soul learns that it is capable of discipline, sacrifice, and sincerity. You begin to see yourself as someone who chooses Allah first, someone who can overcome laziness, someone who can rise above excuses, someone who can control their desires rather than be controlled by them. Consistency shapes identity. Every morning that you rise for Fajr, a message is written into your heart. I am someone who chooses Allah. I am someone who controls my whims. I am someone who values my hereafter more than my temporary comfort. I am someone who walks with purpose. And over time, these repeated messages form a new, stronger spiritual version of you. Fajr transforms the way you see yourself. Fajr transforms the way you see your life. Fajr transforms the way you see Allah. The person who prays Fajr consistently begins to carry themselves differently, more humbly, more gratefully, more consciously of their Lord. Their relationship with time changes, their relationship with priorities changes, their relationship with the world changes, because Fajr is a battle, not against the world, but against the self. To wake up when your body wants to sleep, to stand when your desires tell you to lay down, to obey when the soul pulls toward comfort. And every day you win that battle, you become stronger, purer, more refined. This is how identity is rewritten. The one who prays Fajr consistently develops endurance in every part of life. The same discipline that wakes you up at dawn becomes the discipline that helps you control your tongue, manage your emotions, restrain your anger, guard your modesty, protect your deeds, and remain steadfast in your worship. It becomes the discipline that helps you navigate hardships without losing yourself. Consistency at Fajr builds consistency in everything else, and something deeper begins to happen, something that only the people of Fajr understand. The heart becomes softer, the soul becomes more aware, the conscience becomes more alive. You begin to feel remorse quicker, gratitude deeper, and sincerity more naturally. This is not accidental. This is the spiritual purification that Allah gives to those who honor Him at the earliest hour. When you show Allah that you can sacrifice your sleep for Him, Allah opens doors inside your heart that were once closed. He places light inside of you that changes the way you think, feel, and reflect. Your spiritual identity begins to glow, the one who is calm. Persistent in Fajr becomes someone who trusts Allah more deeply, relies on Him more consistently, and remembers Him more frequently. This person begins to feel watched by Allah in the most comforting way, not out of fear, but out of awareness and love. And because Fajr is often the prayer most people struggle with, the one who masters it experiences a confidence that comes from obedience. Not arrogance, but a humble strength. A feeling of I am trying for Allah, and Allah is helping me. That feeling builds a spiritual backbone that supports you through life's tests. Eventually, consistent Fajr creates a new version of you. A version that is spiritually awake, a version that walks with Allah consciously, a version that carries a quiet dignity and a peaceful certainty, a version that is anchored. One prayer cannot change you in one night, but one prayer done consistently, day after day, will transform you completely. So if you want to change the way you feel, begin with Fajr. If you want to change the way you think, begin with Fajr. If you want to change who you are becoming, begin with Fajr. Because consistent Fajr does not just shape your morning, it reshapes your identity. It turns you into someone who rises when others sleep, someone who chooses Allah even when it is hard, someone who carries spiritual light throughout the day, someone whose heart is alive. This is the power of consistent Fajr. It makes you into who you were always meant to be.